Hey Stamp friends, welcome to the Joy of Stamping with Rachel. I'm Rachel Coon, and today is my card class kit club. What we're making for the month of November using the Shepherd's Care Stampin' Up stamp set. I'm so excited to share these cards with you today. I have lots of fun techniques with them and also some simple ones. So if you want to make a lot of cards easy and fast, we have those as well. This one in particular is made for a class where I have people who are watching this because they have ordered the kit from me. And then if you want to now get just the PDF, you could totally email me and I'll send you the PayPal invoice so you can get that as well. All right, let me show you each card and let's talk about the bonus one. So the kit comes with 4. There's one bonus one for people who sign up on day 1. My sign up always opens up on the 1st of the month, and if you sign up on that day, I will gladly give you a bonus card as well. So let me show you that one. This one's based off of my Fun Fold Friday, so you can look at that one and get the reference of the measurements and everything for that one as well. But super fun and easy using that pretty peacock as our main feature for that one. These other ones come in the kit and are using all the embellishments that will come in the kit. The kit comes with at least $20 worth of Stampin' Up products, so it is a great deal. And we always show different things you can make with these cards. Let me set these to the side, and we're going to get started with our easiest one first. Let me get this one up close. This has an old olive card base. Uses just a tiny panel of that designer series paper called Season of Elegance, and then we have some embellishing with our gold dots. Let's set that right there and grab your old olive card base. Okay, in your kit you'll get something that looks very similar to this. All you have to do extra is cut out your designer series paper, and your measurements will be on your PDF that will come with in your email. We'll grab our bone folder and get that scored nicely, and then I like to do my stamping first. So I'm gonna grab my basic white and my basic white banner here. We need our old olive ink. We'll open that one up. I'm gonna set this a little bit higher. There we go. And let's grab the big shepherd image. So I have this guy on a, let's see, there we go, an E block, because it is a larger stamp. So make sure when you get this set, you have something large enough to ink it with, to stamp it with, I should say, huh? All right, so I'm gonna go ink this one up nicely, pressing. Sorry, it gets loud. If I'm fearful that it doesn't look good, because I can't press hard enough without it just not sitting straight, or because it has these feet on it, it rocks, then I will turn it upside down and ink it up this direction instead. Okay, that's looking better. I've created a halo, so I need to be careful not to overpress. A halo is when you have ink around the outline of it. It looks like a halo, and if I'm not careful, it will transfer to our paper. Let's see. Press lightly, lift up. Oh, that turned out nice, really nice. We're going to use this one again, so make sure that you go ahead and wipe it down, since he's the main feature of almost every single card, right? So we'll reuse this guy for each card. Our fun little shepherd and his sheep. All right. Then we need to get our peace on earth. And we're going to ink that up and stamp on our banner. Okay, go center. Press down and lift up. Looks nice. Okay. That's all of our stamping for this one. The next part is a paper saving tip, where we are going to have just these strips of gold foil. Gold foil is expensive. No, it is more of a higher end item for Stampin' Up, and so it does, you don't get as much. You only get like 2 12 by 12 pieces for it for about $5. And so I always use it very strategically, because usually you're not putting this whole big giant piece of gold on your paper. So you want to make sure that you use it wisely. And what I want to do is go ahead and use a little bit of liquid glue on the back of my DSP. And I'll do one at a time just so that I don't get too much glue on myself, which I did the first time. And we're just going to create a little edge to it. If you want to use your grid sheet to get it an exact size, it's about, let's see, 1/8, or you can make it wider depending on if you want it more of a 1/4. The secret is just to get it the same size on both ends. Okay, flip that one over again. Liquid glue to the DSP, not on the foil. I feel like it's too tricky there. And then we'll slide this behind. There we go. And we'll just make it the size that we want and then let it dry. That looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to set that one aside. We'll grab our basic white mat back in, well, our old olive mat, and we're going to grab some either liquid glue or Stampin' Steel Plus. I'll go ahead and use my Stampin' Steel Plus because it is white and I don't like glue lines, so I do one in each corner, just a little strip of it. But then you have to be very careful to place it correctly the first time. And since I just did each corner, it's not too bad. If I need to move it, I totally could because I didn't put too much adhesive on. So I need to shift this one over, I feel like. There we go. Okay, it's looking good. Grab our card base back in, grab our liquid glue, flip this over. I could tell it's morning here and I haven't drinking much yet because I have like a hoarse voice, so I apologize. I always wake up because I have some fun allergies on a daily basis that my voice just sounds kind of froggy. So apologies for fun sounds you're getting from me today. It is early here. There we go, looking good. So I gave myself 1/2 inch of space there. And I did use my grid sheet or my glass mat that I have underneath here to count 2 squares. And that was the easy way for me to make sure I'm lining it up nicely. For this one, we do want to use some dimensionals on the back. And that's the fun thing about it. Dimensionals give you a pop that makes it fancy with very little effort. It's not a flat card, but it still can mill in the mill. It's not too bulky. Okay, 1 in each corner and 1 in the center. Remove the backings. And flip, make sure that one, yep. Then we're gonna have it half on the card base and some on our DSP. And just about in the middle. Looking good. And lastly, we need to add our banner. For this banner, here's my trick to you. We only want, so I'll show you, behind the earth side. So I'm going to go behind the earth, put a dimensional, and then we're going to go the rest of it with the liquid glue. Because this one is going to be on the part that doesn't have dimensionals on it yet. So I'm going to place that over our cute little sheep so that you can still see his feet, still see his head. And then I'll press down so that it's attaching to here as well. Okay, looking good. Now we just need to do some embellishing for this one. And because the measurement of this DSP is fairly small, you can get a lot out of 12 by 12 piece of paper. And it has like that enough gold to have enough shine to it. All right, this guy we're gonna use a large dot here. There's 3 sizes, so we have large, medium. Oh, I'm gonna have them a little bit higher. There we go, medium, and we'll put a small one up here at the top on the card base itself. Kind of forming a triangle there and using the rule of odds to create a nice look there. Super simple, but look at that shine, so pretty. All right, that's our first card. Let's go on to our next, which is gonna focus on background stamping. So we have this beautiful basic beige. We're gonna create our own piece here and then just have using a small portion of our shepherd. We'll set that one aside so we can keep them handy. And let me grab, oh, we're also introducing some ribbon with it. Okay. So we're using Basic Beige is our card base for this one. And you'll notice in your kit that you are missing a hole from your pretty peacock. And that's because it's a matte and it's gonna be covered. So that's where we get our deckled circle from. Is that guy right there. We're using the stylish shapes again for our cute little banner. And then we'll have another piece of Basic Beige for our center circle. Again, stylish shapes, and deckled circles. We gotta get my card base ready. And let's grab a piece of paper to stamp on. We're gonna get a little bit messy with this one. So I'll put just a scrap of paper there. And I'm using Pretty Peacock. This is one of my all-time favorite colors. It was an in color that then they had come back. We're gonna use this for our circle and our label, and then we'll grab the Basic Beige for our background stamping. Okay, so for this one, we only need the top half of our shepherd. So I'm only gonna stamp what I'm gonna need. I'll press it nice and hard. I think I need to re-ink my Pretty Peacock. I've been using it too much. Okay, hopefully that's enough ink to show up. We're gonna stamp him here on the left side of the circle, not with his head all the way up though. There we go. Nice. Oh yeah, see how mine's good. This one looks a lot lighter than that guy. Sorry you guys, I should have re-inked him. Let me see if I can't get this one a little bit darker. This is our cute little town. Oh yeah. Man. I wonder if I have it somewhere nearby. I'll just try to press really hard maybe. That's looking better. Okay. So there's different, you can tell which side of the ink pad I use more by where there's a little bit more ink in there. So we press that nicely. And we're going to create a fun little background here for our shepherd. Look like he's looking into the city. We're also going to grab our little dots here. Sorry, flip it over that way, you can see. And just have that going above our shepherd and our city. Kind of look like a night sky. Nice. Very, very subtle. And that's it for that stamping. We do need to do our piece on earth, but I want to make sure I wipe everything down and give it time to dry because we're going to use these in just a minute. That guy's good. For some of our background stamping. Again, wiping it clean with a reusable wipe. Okay. Let's keep this one out and stamp our piece on earth. Again, I'm worried that this guy's going to be really light. It's okay. When it gets light like this, it looks like a completely different color. So I apologize that I did not get this re-inked for our video. Tells you how much I love it that I keep on using it over and over again though, huh? That is a fun thing about Stampin' Up! Ink pads that I don't have to buy a whole new ink pad every single time. I can just have my re-inker and refill it that way, and then it's good to go. It's kind of like recycling or using less material that way, which is nice. Okay, set these guys aside, and let's grab our Basic Beige ink. This is a newer color. It's a great neutral, and I've been having so much fun stamping with this one. And grab your Basic Beige cardstock. So for background stamping, my tip is always to stamp the biggest image first. So that would be our fun, wonderful counselor, mighty God, everlasting Father, and the Prince of Peace. So we're going to ink this one up. And I'm going to stamp it in 3 spots. I'm going to go to the top left. Oh, I did not get that. I'm missing some of that, but we'll cover that up with our piece there, so it'll be fine. Then I'm going to go ahead and stamp on the far right and coming off on the edge. It won't be the full seam. And one more down here at the bottom. Nice. I'll clean this one off so it's ready to go for next time. And we're going to grab our star. This is a really fun star here. Great for background, great for main image as well. Let's ink that up. And this one I want to have coming up my top corner here. I'll have one here so you can see it maybe shining through a little bit of the bottom. We'll have one here towards the bottom, but I don't want it directly below that one, so just be mindful of that. And I'll have one more over here. Okay, that looks good as well. And lastly, we're going to do some of those stars, or those little circles, that are in the most random shape. Like, I can't even describe the shape here for this one. Kind of looks like it has legs. I don't even know. And we're going to use that to fill some space. If you wanted to stamp off on this one to make it a little bit lighter, you could as well. I'm just filling the space that we haven't stamped yet. So that, look at that, looks like it fits almost perfectly. All right, that looks pretty good. I'll do one more little tidbit there, and we'll call that good. Now we should be ready to assemble. Our stamping is done, and we'll put our ink away. Okay, so our first thing to assemble on this one is going to be our beautiful ribbon. This is a cherry cobbler and gold ribbon. Let me get closer so you can see. It was on back order for a little bit. It just came back in stock. And what I usually do is I eyeball it, and I'll say I want about 1 inch off on each side, which makes it about 6 inches, about. But I rarely measure it. For this one though, let's move this out. We are going to flip this over, grab our Stampin' Sil Plus, and do just a little strip right here. And I'm going to attach it to one side only. So first, and I'm going to be on the lower bottom, and I'm going to look at it from the front and tuck that in. So see where it's catching, oops, sorry, see where it's catching right there on the adhesive. And then I'm going to pull it tight so that it goes straight, and then I'll tuck it behind the other side there. If it looks a little bit crooked, it's an easy fix. You just move and place again. Okay, that looks pretty good. So where am I gonna go? There we go. Then we'll put some adhesive on the back of this and glue it to our mat. There's our pretty peacock right here. Again, our holy pretty peacock. So now that I put adhesive, I put glue on there, so you gotta be careful not to press down on this guy on my surface, because then that glue that the hole right there is gonna come through. So just be mindful of that. It's not a big deal because we're gonna just attach this straight to our card base now too. We'll add some more adhesive. We'll go in that center and grab our card base. Okay. And get that so it's on here nicely. I feel like my card base is off a little bit on its measurement, so I will probably do some trimming here when I'm done to make it more even. Okay, looking good. Grab our deckled circle and our stylish shapes, one that we have stamped, and attach it to it. Nice. Grab dimensionals. We're going to do dimensionals on the sides of our piece on earth this time and on our circle. For circles, you make a triangle, and then we're going to do one on each for our banner piece here. Remove the backing, flip it, and place it nicely on our card there. Grab our banner and add them to the bottom of our piece so you can't see the end right there. Kind of makes sense? Let me get closer so you can see. Like that. And then all we have to do left is embellish. And what I like to do for this one is I put the little gold dot in the center of each star. And I use the smallest one. So we'll get that one out and just attach like so. Super simple. This one's just a really fun one to show off a lot of the stamps that came in this one and create our own background. I didn't use any designer series paper on this one, so if you don't have that designer series paper, you don't need it if you create your own background. All right, we'll set that aside. Let me show them side by side. You can see the difference of nicely inked and need to re-ink my ink pad. Good lesson to learn. Okay, our next one is really intense on technique here. So I'm super excited to share this one with you. This one has the basic white card base. I did change the measurements a little bit for this one. So you'll notice that on this one, that's a little bit more smaller for our piece of Lost Lagoon. All right, so basic white card base. And then let me get it nicely scored and ready to go. And we'll show you how we're going to stamp this one. Set that aside. We are going to need to do a couple of things stamping wise. Let's grab our Lost Lagoon. That will be our ink of choice for this one at first. And we are going to stamp our saying of our wonderful counselor, Prince of Peace, on our deckled circle. That's our easy one, so we'll do that one first. I say easy, but let's get that piece under here. Some of it will come off, so just try to get it centered. Press down, lift up. Oh, so I didn't, for some reason, I'm not pressing. Let me see if it's not stuck on here well. I'm missing the mighty God part of it. Let me do a practice stamp, because that happened earlier. Maybe I'm just not pressing. There we go. So we're gonna do a flip. And then I'll make sure I press down nice and hard. Oh, now I pressed down too hard. My goodness. Let's see if I have another deckled circle. If not, I'll come back to this one and just show you, because I don't want to attach this one to my card. All right. Pretend that's the side we're going to use, because I don't see one in my kit. I'm so sorry. We'll use our imagination today. In the meanwhile, let's go ahead and stamp our Prince of Peace onto our real red. Let's just go and create a fun banner. Excuse me. I really should have got a drink of water before we started. Okay. We're going to wipe this all down because that had gotten too messy. And we are going just to stamp our Prince of Peace. The way that it lines up, you can almost get rid of, you won't have to worry about cleaning your ink pad. But because I want to make sure I don't get anything on there, I'm going to go ahead and do a wipe down. So using my reusable wipe. If you prefer the technique of masking, you could go ahead and put a piece of Post-it note on the top and bottom of this, and then ink it, and then remove that Post-it note and then stamp it to get just this color. Or if you have a Stampin' Write markers, this would be a good time to just color on that Prince of Peace and not on anything else. All right, let's go ahead and then line it up. Nice, perfect, no extra. The idea of this one is that we would use some dimensionals, and I'm going to put it on top of this here where that other Prince of Peace is. Again, I'm missing that part, so I will do a restamp when it comes time. So just use imagination. That's the next step you would have done. I'll set that aside so we still can see it. Okay, next, let's grab our Lost Lagoon and our Lost Lagoon ink and our shepherd. And we need to stamp him in two places. And then it looks like just one place, but we're going to stamp him twice. So again, he's a huge block. He's hard to hold. So I'm going to put my ink to it. So face him down. I created a halo, so I got to be careful. We're gonna flip them over. I like mine to have a little bit of space on the bottom so that my ribbon can come there. So don't go all the way to the bottom of the left. Give yourself some space. And press down. Oh, that one turned out really nice. So pretty. Great color there. Next, grab your Post-it note, and we're gonna use the side that is sticky on top. So put the sticky side down on the top, and we're gonna grab this guy here, and we only need his top half. We don't need his whole body. And I'm going to stamp him right there. Nice. And you will see why in just a minute, why we are double stamping him. Before I get to that step though, I need to do something that gives some dry time. Because we're using some white craft ink today, and that guy is has a little bit more dry time. So let me put our Lost Lagoon away, grab our Whisper White. This is the older one, I believe, but it should be the same. We're gonna grab our star and be very careful because this is a messy ink. And we're gonna make sure that we get enough white on our star. That's looking pretty good. If you don't have this white craft ink, you could do an embossed star as well in the white, and that would work just fine. Okay, I'm gonna press him on my Lost Lagoon, pressing down and lifting straight up. Nice. This just looks so pretty. Just a stunning contrast. So I'm giving myself smaller workspace from this piece to this piece. So it's gonna look just a little bit different because I cut it out differently. We'll let this one dry as we go ahead and fussy cut this guy out. Grab your paper snips. Again, we don't need all of it, but I'm gonna go ahead and go around that sticky edge here. Come down and around. And then I'm gonna come just around here because I just mostly need his head. I'm not gonna even worry about the lamb too much. But I am gonna come closer to his face here. His cute little beard. We have a profile of him. And circle around. Nice. Okay, this guy we're now gonna put onto our stamped guy here. Cover him up, match him up as close as you can. Like so. There we go. Press down because that's where our adhesive is right here. Cute, cute. Now, if you want to use masking tape here, you could and mask off with that tape. I am perfectly content just using a piece of printer paper. Let me show you. All right, we'll do a quick switch out. I'm gonna put this guy underneath so I have some more space. And then we're gonna cover up this guy. I'll place this over. So I want some of his head to show. I don't wanna see any of my star here though, because I don't want our star to be covered up. Oh, let's go ahead and get our white ink out and our pretty peacock ink in. And I might, since this one is fading, I might need to use my Lost Lagoon. We'll see. We'll see if I have enough ink left. Okay, so here's my star. Don't let the star get covered with the ink. I want a little bit of his head popping through here. I'm just gonna hold it in place. Again, if you had masking tape here, that's where that could work. And I'm grabbing my blending brush. I'm gonna ink up my brush, and I'm gonna go over this corner here. And go over as dark as you want, as many times as you want. My original card, I didn't go far enough in on it, and so I had moved it, and then it created kind of like an extra burst. So I'll show you that too. If you want to do a double masking, you could. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. It's changed the color. So this one right here, can you see that I have like a double line for this one to that one? I literally was like, oh, that wasn't enough. I want more of it. And so I just had scoot this down a little bit more, and then I did another bit. So if you want to go over it again to create that fun looking shine or extra line, you can, or leave it like this. I'm gonna leave it like this time, and then so you can kind of see the difference. All right, so now we need a spotlight. We want our star not to be there, but we want it to come angling in towards where our little lamb is here. So I can see at the corner of my lamb. I'm gonna put this ink on this side now. And I'm just holding it there and going over this ink. And I probably could have gone a little bit closer to the top. Again, I'm working with a different size of paper, so I don't have as much room to play with. So it's gonna look a little different, but that's okay. Again, go as dark as you like. Creating some nice definite lines here. Okay, I'm gonna remove this and we'll start seeing the spotlight up here, which is pretty cool. So this one's kind of a little bit wider, but I still am loving it. And we'll take this ink away. And let's remove our Post-it note here. And it's very subtle, but it makes it so like his head is popping, is like part of that sunlight there. Like that's a little bit in the darkness, but the rest of it's shining through. It's a really, really neat effect. And it's very simple. There's just that ink there. I just use printer paper, so you don't need a whole lot of extra tools, and the blending brush, which those who got my kit also get another blending brush with their kit to use, a brand new one. All right, second technique for this one, we're using some watercolor pencils, very subtly. This is the one that has, let me flip it over so you see our colors. We have our real red in here, our Daffodil Delight, and we have a basic white. These are brand new. I had the older set, so I wanted to make sure I showed you the newer version of these pencils. And these are watercolor pencils, but you can use them just as colored pencils as well. And we're grabbing out our Daffodil Delight and our basic white. There we go. Okay. For this one, what we want to do is go along where we think the light would be shining on our shepherd. So I'm only going to go along the edge in the front with this basic white here. So we're going along his headpiece, along that side there, making it nice and thick. I'm going to go a little bit on his shoulder. We're going to do a little bit of that cute little lamb's head. And then I'm going to also keep it going down the rest of his headpiece here. Following those lines and only making it one-sided. I'm not going around on the left, just on that right side all the way down to the bottom here. Okay, so creating a light on that side that's shining. We'll go ahead and go to his outfit and do a little bit of watercolor white on there. If you want to, you could add some to the sleeves, but I feel like the little lamb is covering his sleeve part here, so we're not getting a lot of light shining. And then we went ahead and put some on our cute little lamb that's just standing there and on that little lamb's back. Okay, very, very subtle. You could totally stop with this step and it would look amazing, like an artist did this or something. It looks so cool to have colored cardstock with that basic white pencil. If you want to add a little bit more, you could take your Daffodil Delight and add some coloring to your star even. You could also go to the other edge of the white and color just ever so lightly. Not all on the white, but just a little bit on his clothes there. So I did it just on his headpiece to make it look like it's shining there. Let me get closer so you can see how cool that is. And I love that we could color on our stamped ink as well and on that white. All right, let's go ahead and start assembling this card as much as we can, even though we won't use our piece there. Let's grab our ribbon again. We're gonna create that fun bottom border. Same style. I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna say 1 inch over on each side, cut it, flip it over, put our Stampin' Seal on the back of it. There we go. On both of those. Grab our ribbon. And this is going to make it so these don't have a ground. We don't want our shepherd to be floating. He's not the angel, he's the shepherd. Attach that one side. I'm going to pull it tight. Oops, see it's moving. Pull tight and attach to the back there. Let's see if that's looks good. Okay. Grab our liquid glue. And our pretty peacock mat. And glue that to it. Again, this one's going to be a little bit different because I changed the measurements on this one. I always make one card and I'm like, oh, you know what? This is my sample, my first pancake. And I change it up for some of the other ones. Just creating borders on all of our sides here. Pretty good, pretty good. Grab our basic white. We'll attach that to it as well. I have not forgotten the little bow. So that's the difference between this one and the last one we made, is that we've created a little bow as well. That's just slide on there. Looking so good, so good. Okay, for the bow, you take about 3 inches of the ribbon. And you cut it. So like, I want my bow to be a little bit smaller than this. I made it a little bit bigger, so I just fold it in half. Then we're going to slide it underneath and do a knot. And then we'll trim it down to the size we really truly want. Okay, if you're worried about this sliding or slipping, grab a glue dot and you can add that to the back of that knot, and that'll help secure it in place. And I'm just going to add an angle so that this looks more like a bow. This is the sneaky way to make a bow, so it's not all that fuss. And that one's pretty long, so I would even trim it a little bit more on each side. And trim it until it looks to the point that you like it. There we go. Okay, we'll call that good for now. Sadly, let's pretend we're putting this on. So this has been dimensions on the middle of this piece, put it on there, dimensions on the back of this guy, and then I would stick it so that I'm not covering my cute little lamb. And I make sure that I have it, oh, maybe we might have to, huh? That's not too bad. I have a little bit of overage here, so just be mindful of your space as you're adding this with dimensionals. And that's the beauty of dimensionals, so we'll pop it up a little bit so that way our lamb won't be completely in the shadows. Super cute card. And then embellish. I've grabbed that largest gold dot. And we're going to put that in the center of our star here. And there you go. That's our fun technique for this one. We get closer, you can see again how we've used some of that watercolor pencils to create some fun shadows, and that we did a fun spotlight technique. Okay, let's set this one aside, and we'll go on to our last card, which is the most fanciest one, but it actually isn't too hard. This one just has lots of extra things. So we have some beautiful gold star, which we've got from the, let me show you, two extra dies from this one. So I use the Tune In star that came with this dies in that bundle. And then I also used a wave from our beach days. Let me show you what that one looks like. This is actually the sand piece. So here's the wave piece. Here's the sand piece. I use that sand piece here to create that really cool look on our gold foil. All right. Set this one aside. Let's grab our real red card base kit. And we can start stamping this one. So in yours, you should have, all you have to do is cut out your paper. And then you should have the rest in your kit. So I've already embossed that basic white for you. You'll have a piece of basic white to stamp on. And then you'll have your piece on earth, which I already pre-stamped that one for us. And let's go ahead and stamp our last shepherd for our video. So this is where you're gonna make a choice between Stays On and Memento ink. The difference, ready? This one you can use watercolor pencils with. This one you want to use your stamping blends with. Since I'm using watercolor pencils and I want to use a little bit of my blending brush, then my blender pen, I want to use StazOn. But if I don't want to do any type of blending or water mixing, then I would use this one. If I'm just coloring just to color, you can totally use just Memento ink. So I'm going to show you the StazOn version so that way you can see how we'll do that step. But if you don't have StazOn, or if you don't want to do any type of blending, use your Memento ink for this guy. Okay, let's see if I have pressing it hard enough to get him nicely inked up. Okay, and I'm not worried about a halo on this one because I am going to fussy cut him out. But we're doing pretty good. Just make sure it's really nicely inked by pressing down hard. Okay. We'll go right here and press and lift. Nice. Oh, that turned out really nice. Okay. Next, I need to make sure I put it away. The StazOn has this cool little extra bonus cover because it's stored differently. And then we'll put that one away. And then this one we want to color before we fussy cut. I feel like the more space available is easier to color on. And so that is my favorite way to do it. I'm going to go ahead and grab our Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to color his headpiece just lightly. It doesn't have to be perfect. The interesting about this type of coloring is that it almost doesn't need it. Like we did our first card with no coloring because it has all these natural shading in here. It's not our typical style to color. All right, then I'm gonna grab our Real Red, which I don't know if you noticed, I've been mixing Real Red with our Cherry Cobbler. Oh, Melon Mambo. Make sure you read your pencil before you color. That would have been funny if you had a nice pink one, huh? Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to find the Real Red, and it's stuck there, maybe right here. Calypso Coral and Real Red. Yep, he was stuck on the edge. Then we're gonna just take this and just do a light coloring. If you want some dark spots, you just go heavier with it. It's kind of like you can color sloppy unless you are not using the blender pen. Since I'm using the blender pen, I'm going sloppy. I'm going to go darker on some of these shaded areas. Okay, I'm not going to go over that one with our blender pen. So we'll make that one a little bit darker on this side here. Create some fun coloring. Okay. Onto a sleeve. There we go. For our cute little sheep, there is a basic gray. So if you want to lightly color it with a basic gray, you could. So I'm just going to do like a little scratch over. Very lightly. And this little guy here, just lightly. All right, now I'm going to grab my blender pen. And we're going to make sure it's clear. Actually, there we go. By just doing a little bit of wiping off here. Then I'm going to I start with the lightest color first. So I'm going to do my light gray on my cute little sheep friend. And just blend in some of those colors. I'll wipe it off. And then I'm going to move on to my Daffodil Delight. And I'm just smoothing out where I just scribbled. So this is where it makes it nice and clean and not look scratchy. Okay, clear off that one and do the same thing now with my Real Red area. We're just creating those lines that we had and just blending them together so they just kind of mesh into one. You see how it's smoothing out the lines. Up here at this side. Nice. You don't want to over blend because then it gets too wet. So just be mindful of how much of that you're using. Okay, and that looks fairly good to me. So I'm gonna grab my paper snips and do some quick fussy cutting. I usually start at the bottom right corner. I don't know why. I'm sure everyone has a different starting point, but that's usually my favorite. And we're just going to cut around all of our stamped image here. Nice. Going around our cute little grass. And you don't have to get super close. So there's little tidbits of grass there. If you want to cut in between it, you can. I'm not focusing on that too much. My main focus will be around our shepherd and our sheeps. Around his ear, up around his clothes. And cut off this whole extra. I don't want that tripping me up, so I'll just remove it. For those who haven't fussy cut before, you'll notice that I'm moving the paper and not the scissors. And then I'm keeping my tip more pointed up and using just the inside of my scissors and not the tip of my scissors. That'll make it for a nice continuous cut. Even as we go along this side here, we'll start to press down with our scissors and then we lift up before it goes all the way down to that tip. We won't use the final tip until we get to the end or when I go to cut something off completely. And even then, I prefer just to use the inside. There we go. Nice, nice. Okay, now we can start our assembling. Grab all of our pieces back in, and you'll have our, you can choose which way you want your designer series paper to go, gold on top or gold on bottom. I personally like it on the bottom, but we need to glue on our gold first and then also attach our ribbon. So what I like to do, again, I'm going to put the glue on the back of the DSP. And then because of this is a sand part, you'll see there's a natural line that came from die cutting it. Let me get close, you see that there's a natural line there. That's what I'm going to use to help me line up where I want this to go. Okay. Flip that over. Too far, there we go. Looking good, looking good. Then we're going to take our ribbon and again doing our blind measurement or inch on each side extra so we can have some wrapper room. Put some Stampin' Seal on the back. Stampin' Seal Plus is one I like to use the most. If you don't have that, tear tape would work as well. It's just not as fast. Oh, and I went too far over. And you have that. There we go. We'll put a little bit more here. Because this ribbon is going to be right where that DSP meets the gold. So right along that edge. Like so. And tuck it over that. Oh, I went, look how it's bowing. We don't want it to bow. So I'll release one side of it. And then we'll do a retuck. There we go. That looks better. No more bowing. Okay, liquid glue on the back. And we can attach it to our piece of embossed paper here. You can pick which side you like more. Good. Let's go ahead and attach this whole piece now to our card base. Liquid glue on the back. If you want to add dimensionals there instead, you totally could. And what I've forgotten to mention for the rest of these cards is that you can stamp the inside. Let me get the stamp set back in here. So it has two really great sayings. I'm going to go through mine later. I won't do it now, and add them to each one. Praying that you will feel the good shepherd's care in the season and throughout the coming year. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalms 147:3. So those are the two ones I'm going to add to the inside of my cards, along with our greetings that we have on the front. All right. Now we need to glue on our star. And then everything else we'll use dimensionals. For the star adding, just go ahead and do little dots on the ends and dots in the center. At first, I wasn't sure what star I was going to use, and then I was like, oh my goodness, the one from that Tune In with the TV is a perfect one for this. Such a fun star. Okay, grab this guy with our dimensionals and our piece on earth, which for this step here, all I did is I stamped in the real red, and then I did a little cut and a slant there. Let's add at least 4 for that guy. And then I'm not putting dimensionals on the piece side, just on my slant side, but I think I will do at least 2 on there, and then we'll do a little bit of liquid glue on his end. It's kind of doing all of our skills on this card. Remove our backings to our dimensionals. We're going to do a quick flip. And we want him close to the bottom, but not completely, because we want to make sure we're still showing off our gold and our ribbon. And then we'll remove the backing from this guy. And we want his piece on earth to be on his outfit a little bit, but mostly on our embossed paper here. And then lastly, we just want to put a little bit of bling with our star. So I'm going to take a small one to the top here, and then I'm going to do another small one to right below the star. There's a piece of hair. Let's move that. And then I'm going to do a medium. And there we go. Super cute. Look how that turned out. We have a lot of this one's like the fanciest one, which I just love it for all the details, but it's definitely one that you would send to someone that you like a whole lot. All right, let's get all those cards back in so you can see it one more time. Here's our Prince of Peace. See, this one is without his label because we need to fix that one. And then we have our background stamping. And then we have our simple, quick, and easy, but showing off that designer series paper. And of course, we have that bonus card as well that stamps with that in the inside. So hope you guys have learned something new with this one. Thank you so much for being part of my kit class for this month, all of those who are watching this. And if you want to join next month, be sure to sign up on December 1st for next month's kit. All right, you guys have a great time and happy stamping, everyone. Goodbye.